Message from Sunnahfollowers. This is from Sheikh Saleh. We need to unite. Sisters, wear your hijab. Wear your beards. Be proud of your beards. Stay home, stay in your home. Stand up, unite, and stand for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
That's right, Saleh. We all should stand up in solidarity, not transgressing the limits of Allah, but standing together with patience and understanding. This is Sunnahfollowers.
With dignity, humility, and balance.
If you want to learn about how to balance and maintain your faith every day, you need to be here at 6:30 p.m. Eastern, being taught by Sheba, streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers. Hope to see you there, inshallah.
Assalamu alaikum. This is Yusuf and this is Ayub. And if you are benefiting like we are from the classes and the ongoing programming, tuning into the Sunnahfollowers, please donate. Let this be an ongoing sadaqah jariyah on your behalf. You're helping the kids, the converts, and everyone seeking knowledge. And it's a wealth of information every day you tune in. Don't forget, you are being rewarded for your generous donations to keep this programming on air. You know, just like what you're hearing, put your dollar where the dollar's at. Right here on Sunnahfollowers. Don't forget, donate. Right here to Sunnahfollowers and dollars Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Listen, we are in dire need of donations to keep these shows running and available for you 24/7. So that means when you're in the car, it's available for you to listen to. Whether you're at work, streaming, playing a game, it's available for you to listen to. Rowing your deed and learning about the beautiful, beautiful, beautiful different topics of Islam. Listen, one of the heaviest deeds that could be placed on your scale on the Day of Judgment is sadaqah jariyah. Yes, I know, I'm trying to build deeds daily. So you can too. So listen, feel free, and please, from the bottom of your heart, donate to this wonderful cause, wonderful website and platform to continually push out shows that will benefit you and the Muslim Ummah. Yes, you can donate by going to the Sunnahfollowers.net website, pressing the Donate tab. You can also scan the QR code in YouTube on the far left top of our videos that are streaming. Listen, guys, this is very important, and take this as important. We want to keep this programming available for you 24/7 so that you have access in your car, anywhere you choose to tune in to this wonderful programming. Yes, guys, it's all at your disposal. So listen, feel free to donate. Once again, remember, sadaqah jariyah, one of the heaviest deeds on your scale on the Day of Judgment.
There are so many things going on around, you must take heed. It's been written and prophesied about, so you must believe. Not everything that glitters is gold. Pay attention as it's been told.
Join us every Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern, with Brother Yusuf as he tackles and breaks down current events, current news, and politics, and the Islamic Ummah. Please join us, streaming on all major platforms. Channel Sunnahfollowers.
You will make it through. The fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah by your side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. You will make it through. The fitrah is awake in you. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make it through. With Quran and Sunnah on his side, here's a place where it will thrive. You will make
Ina alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Aqidah class. And this is the class where we are studying the correct belief system. And this is based on the correct belief series that's been put together by Dr. Kareem Abu Zaid. And for those of you who have not yet purchased the correct belief series, please go to Amazon.com and get a copy of this series. And we are going over the second of the series entitled Diluting Wal Bara, the first volume. And we've been speaking about what it means to have allegiance to Allah, allegiance to the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, allegiance to the believers, and allegiance to each other. And we've spoken about how if a person truly understands the linguistics of what allegiance entails and what disassociation entails, it then will help that person to formulate love and hate for the sake of Allah. And who can tell us what does it mean to love and hate for the sake of Allah? Can anyone explain what it means to love and hate for the sake of Allah? Anyone? Does anyone remember what it means to love and hate for the sake of Allah? Can anyone explain that concept?
I can try.
Okay, go ahead.
Basically, to love and hate for the sake of Allah is loving Allah and also hating the thing that He hates and loving the things that He loves in a balanced way according to how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam taught us, like the balance, where we don't exceed the limits. For example, without hate, in the Quran, Allah says, "Do not let your hate for others cause you to transgress the limits." And in love, for example, we can love the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we don't, or Allah too, and not do things that go against the proper worship. For example, the Prophet's birthday or stuff like that.
MashaAllah. Good job, Sister Zarina, one of my better students. Great. Exactly. To love for the sake of Allah and to hate for the sake of Allah entails loving the things that Allah loves and hating the things that Allah loves and incorporating that into our lives without transgressing the limits. Good job. As Sister S typed here, Sister S said to love what is permissible and to hate what is not permissible. That's also the meaning, because Allah tells us that He loves everything that He made lawful. And this is why we have to be careful. I want all the new shahadas to pay attention. One of the reasons as to why the people of knowledge, we will tell you, don't use the word haram. Don't use the word haram. Don't use the word haram unless you have a clear nas or a clear verse to go with it. Because if you say that something is haram, you're saying that Allah hates something, because Allah tells us that He hates everything that He made unlawful. So if you're going to tell me, for example, that it's unlawful to wear colors, then you're saying that Allah hates colors. If you tell me that it's unlawful for me to drink coffee, you're saying that Allah hates coffee. So we have to be careful using this word haram, because Allah hates everything that he made haram. Good job, Sister S. Okay, Sister Fatima. She said, love what Allah loves, hate what he hates. Good job. That's what that means. When we speak about loving for the sake of Allah, this entails looking at something or someone and putting aside our personal likes and our personal dislikes, and instead looking to see what Allah likes about the thing or what Allah dislikes about the person. If we keep it on that level, then we don't end up harming the person or transgressing against that person. Okay, and this is what we're going to speak about today. Today's lecture is going to be how to balance, how to maintain that balance in our love and our hate. So let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen for tonight's discussion. And hopefully everybody will be able to see my screen. Okay, and tonight we're covering pages 58 through 60 of the book. 58 through 60, which will finish out this chapter. Can everybody see? So we're going to finish out the chapter, which is chapter 5 of the book, Diluting Wal Bara. And that's how the book looks. For those of you who have not yet purchased it, please head over to Amazon and get a copy of this book. All right. So we're going to speak about how to be moderate in our love, and how to be moderate in our hatred. Let's take a look at it here. And inshallah, I'll try to keep it so you guys can see. All right. So when we speak about moderate love and controlled hate in Islam, remember, Islam means total submission to Allah. And that's what our lifestyle is based upon as Muslims. Our lifestyle is based upon being balanced. We don't want to be too far to the left nor too far to the right. Instead, as Muslims, we want to be balanced. We want to be balanced in our love. We want to be balanced in our hatred. So love and hatred, these are fundamental emotions. And these two emotions influence our beliefs as Muslims. They also influence our actions. They also influence our affiliations and our behaviors. And in Islam, love and hatred, these are both considered actions of the heart. They're also considered a reflection of our affection, our devotion, and also they're considered an aversion towards particular objects or people. So when we speak about al-wala, we're speaking about our allegiance, and our allegiance to a person or to an object comes from love. Whereas when we speak about al-bara, we're speaking about disassociation. And when we disassociate from an object, or when we disassociate from a people, this comes from our hatred. So as we can see, guys, love and hatred are both emotions of the heart, and they are also opposites. And as Muslims, our love and our hate should be for the sake of Allah. It should not be for worldly gain. We talked about this yesterday when Dr. McBride did his class on setting goals, using your brain to set goals. When he and Dr. Jamali talked about the heart and its connection to the brain, we talked about how to set goals. One of the new Shahadas, Sister Amira asked how could she set the goal. Her goal is, how do I find true love? I want to find true love. I want to discover what true love is. The heart is connected to the brain. And what did Dr. McBride tell her? He said, you have to first discover how do you yourself define true love? What does true love mean to you? Okay? As Muslims, our love and our hate should be for the sake of Allah, not for worldly gain. Okay? Also, guys, it's not logical. It's not logical to love something without hating its opposite. Do you guys get what I'm saying? It's not possible to love trust and truthfulness, for example, without hating dishonesty. Let's say, for example, I want to discover what true love is. In my definition of true love entails true love entails honesty. True love embellies trust. Well, if true love embellies trust for me and honesty for me, then that means that I have to hate deceitfulness. I have to hate dishonesty. You guys get it? So it's illogical to love something without hating its opposite. You can't say, I can't say that I love honesty and I love deceitfulness too. And this is a mistake that a lot of us women make. We say that we want a good man, but we love the bad boy. How many of us women do that? I wanted to get in on that conversation so bad yesterday, but I kept silent because it wasn't my class, my lecture. You know, we want true love. I want to find and discover true love, but one of the things that we women are attracted to is the bad boy. We all want the bad boy. We find the good boy boring. It's illogical to love something without hating its opposite. Islam encourages us as Muslims to establish a balance and exercise moderation concerning these two emotions, sisters. And this will result in the concept of moderate love and controlled hatred. You sisters get what I'm saying here? Okay. So, what is moderate love? What does it mean to love moderately? Moderate love is the expression of affection. And this expression of affection comes from following Allah's laws and Allah's principles. And as Muslims, we are encouraged to exhibit our love for Allah and for His messenger and for the fellow believing Muslims out there through our worship and through compassion and support. But these actions must adhere to the Quran and our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's guidance and principles. And as Muslims, we must not deviate from that. And this is the problem today, because we're living in some terrible times. We're living in secular societies. Instead of us following or allowing the Quran and the Hadiths to guide us in our practices, we're allowing society, we're allowing social media, we're allowing the non-believers, to set the norm for us. And this is something that we have to get away from. Like I said, how many of you sisters are using dating apps to find a husband? This is haram. This is not the guidelines. Allah did not tell us that when a woman is ready to get married to put her name on a dating app. That's not the way we look for husbands. We go through our guardians and the men in our family, the men in our relations. They look for husbands for us. We have to stop adapting the guidelines of the non-Muslims. We have to stop adapting their practices and making their practices our norm. Because when we adapt their practices, we inherit their problems. And that's what we have today, where marriage is no longer sacred. The amana between husband and wife is no longer sacred. As Dr. Dramali and Brother Muhammad Ziyada talked about, men marry women and they're expecting their wives to live up to these women who are kafir on social media with their apps that are filtered. Women marry men and they're expecting their men to live up to the Brad Pitts of society. So again, moderate love, these actions must adhere to the Quran and the Sunnah. And as Muslims, we should never deviate from that. For example, what is one of the biggest problems that we face today as a nation? Every year, these birthday parties. Look how many Muslims are celebrating birthdays, not just their own birthday, but they're also celebrating the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam's so-called birthday. Even though Umar, may Allah be pleased with him, told us that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not exaggerate my status. Do not do to me what the Christians did to the Son of Mary. I am only a servant. So refer to me as the servant of Allah and his messenger, even though the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us against this. Look how we have adapted the actions, the guidance of the non-Muslims. And we're celebrating not only our own birthdays, our children's birthdays, but even the so-called birthday of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So again, guys, even when it comes to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, our love for him must be within its proper level. It should be moderate. It should not excel beyond what Allah said. Our love for our children should not excel beyond what Allah said. Remember, the Prophet said, the one you love today may become someone you have to hate tomorrow. The one you hate tomorrow may become someone you have to love today. So we should be moderate in this. And remember, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, help your brother, whether he is an oppressor or is being oppressed. And how do you help him if he is an oppressor? By taking him by the hand and stopping him. So again, we have to bring back the Sunnah. I've been preaching this all week as Muslims. You know, we've deviated so far away from the traditional Islam. We're not practicing this religion as those original companions did. We don't have this allegiance to Allah, this allegiance to the Prophet, nor to each other that those original companions have. We're not moderate in our love for each other or for Allah or for the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We have to stand up and make that change, guys. It has to start somewhere. We need to make that start begin with us here at Sunnahfollowers. Okay? And in contrast, moderation and hate. We have to work on this too. As Muslims, we are encouraged to hate what Allah hates and love what Allah loves. That means we don't transgress the limits in our hatred either. Allah hates the Jews because they disobeyed him, because they transgressed his limits. But that doesn't mean that we go around killing and destroying and hating all Jews. No, no, no. Many of the Jews converted to Islam. Many of those original companions were Jewish rabbis who converted to Islam. All right? So we don't go around destroying all people like that. All right? Another example, as Muslims, we should despise disbelief. We should despise innovation, disobedience, and injustice. And we should love obedience to Allah. We should love good actions and justice. And we should show compassion and equality towards others, regardless of their disapproval of specific actions or behaviors. Even though the Prophet lived amongst the non-Muslims, the non-believers, he still was just towards them. He was still equal and fair in his dealings with the Jews and the Christians and the pagans. You know, as long as they were not a direct threat to the Muslims. We need to learn from his example. We don't go around disrespecting and treating people badly just because they don't worship Allah the way we do. We're not barbarians. We're not terrorists. And this is something, again, that we Muslims have gotten away from. It is forbidden for us as Muslims to allow personal animosity to cause us to commit actions of injustice or cause damage to others. Instead, Islam encourages us, to be just and fair, to only disapprove of what Allah disapproves of. And Allah speaks about this over and over again in the Quran. And our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentions this over and over again in numerous hadiths. We're not instigators. The Prophet tells us that Allah hates the instigator. Are you an instigator? These are questions we need to ask ourselves. So again, Listen to this. Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning, do not let your hatred for others incite you to commit injustice. This verse right here is a powerful reminder for all of us, particularly us Muslims, to maintain good emotional and behavioral control in the face of hatred. It emphasizes the significance of preventing personal emotions of hatred to come out and cause us to harm others. Also, this verse is an instruction that tells us to hold firm to our Islamic principles and to treat all people, no matter who they are or where they're from, with fairness and respect, regardless of their differences or disagreements. And by sticking to this guidance, then as Muslims, we can cultivate a society like the Prophet did, that upholds justice and nurtures good relationships while remaining true to our beliefs and values, like those companions did during the caliphates that came after the Prophet, the caliphate of Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. May Allah be pleased with them. So as we can see, guys, Islam is not a religion of aggression. Islam is not a religion of terrorism. Islam is a religion of justice and balance. As Muslims, we are admonished by Allah to act justly, even towards those that we despise, and not to allow our emotions to cloud our judgment or take us away from the path of righteousness. In Islam, enmity is not a negative emotion in and of itself. Instead, its expression and manifestation can be negative. And we have to think about that. When it comes to hate, it should be what Allah hates. And when it comes to love, it should be what Allah loves. We need to learn to separate our personal likes and our personal dislikes and remove them from the equation. For those of us who can master that, and this is hard to do, for those of us that can master and remove our personal likes and dislikes from the equation, those are the ones of us who taste the sweetness of true faith. All right, so I'm going to stop right here. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. And this completes chapter 5 of this wonderful book written by Dr. Kareem Abu Zaid. And this is something that will probably take most of you a lifetime to accomplish. Learning to love and hate for the sake of Allah. It's something that even I am still working on doing, learning how to take my personal feelings about a person or an issue and set it to the side, and instead look at that issue or look at that person and see the good in them that Allah loves. You know, it's something that we're all going to be struggling with. And for the sister that asked that question yesterday about how do you set the goal of finding true love, I agree with Dr. McBride. You know, you have to define what true love means to you. and make it be for the sake of Allah, because it's illogical to love something and its opposite too. And that's where a lot of us women get caught up. How can you love something good and love its opposite too? And that's the problem. A lot of us women, we love the bad boy. You love the bad boy? The bad boy lies. The bad boy cheats. The bad boy deceives. The bad boy is dishonest. The bad boy manipulates. The bad boy is narcissistic. The bad boy curses. The bad boy may rob banks. The bad boy may do drugs. You love him, but you say you love the provider. You love the maintainer. You love the protector. You love the patient one. You love the caring one. You love the compassionate one. You love the empathetic one. These men are opposites. You have to make up your mind, sister. What do you want? You can't love the bad man and the good man. You have to make the choice. Which one do you really love? Which one do you really want? A lot of us want the bad boy. Why? Because the human soul is attracted to everything that's bad and dirty. I wanted to get into that conversation, but it wasn't my conversation to get into. But as a woman who knows from experience, not experience, I haven't been out in the streets. I always say I got experience, but I really don't. But as a woman who has studied and has counseled and has dealt with these issues and counseled and read about these issues and dealt with women in these issues as a daya and all of that. The human soul is attracted to everything that's bad and dirty. And that's the problem with us as women. We're attracted to the bad boy. The good boy we overlook. We have to make ourselves attracted to what Allah is attracted to. Everything goes back to Islam. We have to train our soul, sister, to be attracted to what Allah is attracted to. A lot of us come from environments and we come from backgrounds where we're attracted to the doughboy. We're attracted to the drug scene. We're attracted to that lifestyle. Well, now that you are a new Shahada, you're a new Muslim, you have to train your soul to become attracted to what Allah loves. Okay? And so that's how you find true love, through Allah, through changing your soul. You understand, sister? Amira? Yeah. A woman can help take you there. The brothers couldn't give you that answer. I can. All right. What are the questions y'all have? And yes, tonight is the Islam Q&A. Yeah, Sister Amira. Yeah, you have questions like that? Yeah, you can bring them. I'm here tonight. My show is at 9:30. And by the way, guys, you know I'm on medication. I got to remind y'all and myself, I'm on medication. So my show will start and end on time because I have to take my medication at 11 o'clock. Just letting y'all know. The older sisters know what I'm talking about. I have to take my pills at 11 o'clock. But yeah, Sister Amir, you can bring your questions at 9. Yeah, I'll answer them, inshallah. Yes. Everything. Allah tells us all that, Sister Amir. Oh, you like this hijab? Jamila Pasha, inshallah. Sisters, all the new shahadas, check out Jamila Pasha on Facebook. She's out of New Jersey. Yeah, Jamila Pasha. All of these are pashimas. All of my pashimas, every single one. I get them from Jamila Pasha, $10. I got out every time she gets them in, I buy her boxes. Yeah, so just tell her, go to her Facebook page, Jamila Pasha, and tell her that you want some of the pashimas that Sister Layla's wearing. And she'll order them. Take a screenshot. You want to take a screenshot of me? Go ahead. Here, take a screenshot. You got it? Okay, yeah. Yeah, and just send it to Jamila Pasha on Facebook. Let me type her name. Hold on. Yeah, she's out of New Jersey. My Jersey Muslim women. She's my age. We the same age. There she is. Yeah, that's Jamila Pasha. Yeah, just put her in there and just tell her that you want this pashima, and she'll order them. She gets them all colors. Now, the other ones I wear with the bling, those are from Somalia. My Somali students send those to me. But all the other ones, everything else I wear on my head is from Jamila Pasha. And they are the kind that we need. They're kimars that cover you. Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, Sister S says, when do we say the evening? What evening at car? I don't know what you're talking about. There is, I don't know what you're talking about. Sister S, there's nothing in Islam that says you have to say anything. All that stuff is voluntary. You can say remembrance of Allah whenever you want to. So I don't know what I don't understand what your question is. Can you rewrite your question? I don't understand what you're asking me. I really don't. Yeah. Are you asking me if you want to remember Allah in the evening? Is there a specific time? Is that what you're asking me? Or are you asking me what time does the night begin? Type your answer like that. Are you asking me if a person wants to make dua in the evening, what time does the night begin? Because I think that's what you're asking me. I think you're asking me what time does the night begin? So rewrite your question, because I think I know what you're asking. You're just asking it in a very bad way. So retype your question. Ask me what you're asking in better English. Okay, Isra said that black and orange hijab. Oh, thank you, Sister Isra. May Allah bless you. My baby Isra is here. By the way, I think I know what she's asking me. I want you Muslim sisters to know that the night does not begin at Maghrib. I think that's what she's trying to ask me. This is a misconception that Muslims have. The night does not begin at Maghrib. Maghrib means sunset. The night does not begin until Isha. Isha means night. So if you want to make dua or supplications at night, night begins at Isha. Maghrib does not mean night. Maghrib means sunset. Everybody understand? That's why I'm asking her to retype her question, because I think that's what she's asking. If you want to make supplications at night, you do not make supplications for night at Asr. Asr is not nighttime. Asr is the middle of the day. Okay? It's the middle of the day. Maghrib is sunset. That's what those words mean in English. Isha is night. That's what the word Isha means. You understand, Sister S? Don't get caught up in Arabic. This is why you have to be careful when you sisters are listening to these Arabic speakers from Morocco, particularly from off of those club programs. Don't get it twisted. Asr means midday. Maghrib is sunset. Isha is nighttime. Okay? That's your answer, Sister S? All right. But you can make personal supplications to Allah whenever you want to throughout the day. You can make them whenever you want. Remember Allah, as the Prophet Muhammad said, you can remember him as often as you want. There is no specific time. There's best times to remember him. The best time, one of the best times to remember Allah is during the last third of the night, which is before Fajr. But you can remember him throughout the day. But don't get caught up with that Arabic terminology. That'll mess you up. Tell them to tell you what that stuff means in English. All right. The night begins at Isha. As the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, what's the source? Sahih Muslim. The night begins at Isha and the night ends at Fajr. Fajr is dawn, and dawn ends at sunrise. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Any other questions? What about you people in Zoom? You people in Zoom got any comments, or y'all just sitting there?
I would like to make a comment. Alhamdulillah, thank you. Having the book has really been really helpful, along with the PowerPoints and your lecture. So I'm actually able to kind of understand a lot better, or contain it better, I should say. As far as this concept of love, I know that we have to relearn it, because a lot of us were, not saying I, but us in general, learned the wrong definition of love. And Allah's love is the best love. If we don't even understand the different examples Allah gives us in the Quran about He loves when we go to Him for asking for forgiveness. He loves us when the most righteous person is the best of all the, believers. That's how we're judged. And love is conditional. Allah gives us standards. We have to hate things that are haram and love things that are good. So it's oxymoronic to say we want unconditional love, because that is conditional. We have to earn Allah's love, and we have standards with each other. So I just wanted to say a lot of us have to relearn it.
That's true. A lot of us have to relearn what love is. Yeah, we could have a whole class on that love. I really liked Sister Amira's question yesterday when she asked. I thought that was a great question of hers. about true love, because most people don't know what true love is. Most Kafirs don't know what it is. Most Muslims don't. That's a whole topic in and of itself. And like I said, Allah tells us. Allah talks about that in the Quran, how we don't know what it is. The soul is attracted to everything that's bad. The soul falls in love with things that's bad for it, that's destructive to it. In fact, we should make that one of our maybe we should make that a topic for one of our Q&A shows. True love. What's love got to do with it? What's love but a second-hand emotion? Now y'all gonna get Layla going. Y'all gonna have me in here singing. Me and Geechee. We're gonna be in here harmonizing. Yeah, that's a good topic, guys, for one of our forums.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And by the way, guys, just to let y'all know, Mukhtar's class. A lot of you been asking me about the Caliphate of Umar radiallahu anha. Mukhtar's class will be this Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be doing the Caliphate of Umar radiallahu anha beginning this Sunday. So happy.
All right, Brother Yusuf is here.
Oh, Brother Yusuf is here. So good. I kept you guys here. Now we can turn this flow show over to the weekly news and review. Did y'all make him a moderator and stuff?
Yes, I did.
Is he ready to go?
Oh, I've been here for like 25. I just wasn't going to stop your flow.
Oh, come on. You had me sitting here trying to hold these people here.
No, I thought you were on a roll and you had some stuff you wanted to cover, so I just respectfully said, it's not my turn yet, I'll wait. And you were taking selfies for people with your new hijab, which I was going to comment on, by the way. It's nice. You were enjoying the attention, so I wasn't going to take it from you.
If I had known, I was trying to keep them here because I'm on medication. I keep telling people I'm on medication. Okay, guys, Brother Yusuf's here with this week's news and review. So I'm getting ready to turn it over and let me make the background. Where's our news and review background? Hold on, guys. Where's our world news thing?
Yeah, I came right after Maghrib as usual.
Okay.
About 8:12, 8:10, something like that.
Oh, he was here that long? Oh, God. Next time he comes, y'all let me know. Because, we got the Islam Q&A show at 9:30. So I be trying to keep them here waiting on you. Let me know when you here, bro. Okay.
All right.
Because the class was short today. I was just trying to hold them in. Okay, here we go. Okay, turn your camera on. Let me see. I got the news and review on.
And you were singing? I mean, it was a good Friday night.
Oh, he heard me singing.
1983 or whatever.
Oh, he heard me singing. Oh, my goodness. Now I'm embarrassed. Okay.
I'm going to turn back to the 80s.
Yeah, I'm an 80s girl. Okay, let me cut my camera off, and I'm going to turn this over to Brother Yusuf. And Brother Yusuf, you can start whenever you're ready, inshallah.
All right. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This week's been hectic for me, so I'm kind of glad you went a little bit long there, sister, because I really didn't have as much time to do as many or as in-depth a topics as previously do. I'm transitioning from one job to the other. So obviously a lot of that stuff's been taken. Not feeling well and feeling like brain fog and fatigue. And going back to last week, we talked about the EMF, and it's like something there I feel. I can't prove it yet, but definitely something, because a lot of people report the same thing. I was talking to a guy at my work the other day. He's working actually remotely in Arizona. And he was telling me when I was describing what I was feeling this week, like I got the exact same thing. And I was like, what about 2 weeks ago? Is it the same thing? We're just sharing, stories about that. But we're going to follow up with what we did talk about last week. We also got some funny Andrew Tate news, my favorite Muslim. is back furthering his agenda, further exposing himself, which fits our agenda, obviously to expose these people. And he just continues to do that. The UAE government aiding him. We're going to get to that story a little bit later, continuing to obviously facilitate this man. Sister Layla was talking also, and before I came on, about controlling. Sometimes the best strength you can have is to understand what your weaknesses are. And these are the things that you tend to focus on. Everybody, we all have poor tendencies, obviously. And when she was talking about hating people and disliking people, that's something I've been guilty of almost my whole life. I know no matter how much I pray on it, I just really dwell on that. It's just something that I detest evil so much. And sometimes I look for the evil more than I look for the good, which is not necessarily a good quality to have. I always tend to expect the worst in people, unfortunately, because that's been my life experience. And when I reach somebody who's really genuine and good, I really love them because it is very rare, unfortunately. But we always got to understand, like, if I was me myself and judging myself on the same standard I'm judging that person, would I like myself? And a lot of times, we ignore our own shortcomings that people tolerate from us. And we're very critical, but not with people like Andrew Tate. It's okay to hate that, inshallah. So I want to start off this week. I was reading some comments, as I always try to read all the comments that come in. And then if there's anything that needs to be clarified, I like to clarify it. Obviously, done this week by week. And I noticed that shorts are a good thing. Shorts bring quick, instant attention, to the videos. But the problem oftentimes is that shorts are short. And they're just snippets. And I saw someone made a comment on one of the shorts that was made where I was referring to the immigrants driving up the housing prices. And yeah, that's a factor, but it's not the only factor. And I had talked about BlackRock and the equity firms. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that agenda tonight as it affects two major places I decided to kind of hone in on. That we're going to be looking at California and Canada tonight because Canada recently had an election. But again, that's a problem with shorts because I did talk about the equity firms. I was commenting about particularly Syrian migrants in my area because there's not a lot of that BlackRock wealth in here yet. It is in some new facilities, but some of the existing homes, it's not as prominent as it is in other places. So there's a lot of factors affecting our home costs. It's a combination of inflation, combination of all these asylum seekers, these fake refugees, all the illegals, even illegals. We have too many people. And then, of course, these private equity firms, buying things up. So I just wanted to cover that a bit. So now, last week, we went over Agenda 2030. Guarantee you will not find anyone in our Ummah, unfortunately, even talking about this. There's too many issues there they just simply won't touch. And we're here to do that. We're here to do what they're not going to do. We are here because I don't care. I live my life free. I trust in the law. And I do what's right. I don't have an agenda. I'm not here with financial stake. I'm not trying to guide people away to line my pockets. In the end of the day, I'm here basically to help people and guide them in the right direction. And it's not going to stop, obviously. But I guarantee you do not hear anything talking about this by any other people in our Ummah, unfortunately. Maybe one day they'll start doing it, but highly unlikely when you look at most of them. So this week, we're going to be looking again at a few topics that directly relate to last week as we can see the results in real time developing. They are happening. And I said some of the agenda was a little bit off. A lot of the agenda is right on schedule, and a lot of the agenda is even ahead of schedule. So some of them we're going to be looking at again tonight. So one of the points that I covered last week was the removal of mother and fatherhood. And we have to understand, again, this is why we're here. This is where they want to go. Why do they want to get rid of mother and fatherhood? Now, a lot of people say, oh, it's because of the LGBTQ. That's a very surface level way of looking at it. They don't care. LGBTQ is another way of furthering the agenda. They're all part of the same bag of tricks here, all leading over here. And as I mentioned last week, where they want it to go, which is births being controlled. They don't want natural births anymore. They want every child to be a ward of the state. That's the plan in the future world. In order to get there, turn people gay initially, try to get people to accept homosexuality, try to get men to wear dresses, try to get women to wear the trousers, so to speak, try to blur the lines of gender and use this as a way of a smoke screen to get terms like motherhood and fatherhood banned from public discourse. Like I mentioned last week, in the UK, they're saying you shouldn't even say father because that's discriminatory against a boy who has two mommies. You shouldn't say mommy because that's discriminatory against a child with two daddies. And we even see in the libraries now, they're carrying a book, which something, I can't remember the title of it. It's such and such has two daddies. And it's a cartoon with the young boy with his two fathers, you know, in the background. Again, they don't care about Sister Layla, me, and us. They care about your children. This is who they want to indoctrinate. So they're trying to get this further accomplished, homosexuality, not trusting the sexes. You see huge rifts if you go on social media now, more than ever before, between men and women. You see it between black men and black women. You see it between white men and white women. You're seeing it all across racial lines and just along the lines of sex. I mean, you see men and women generally are being promoted. A lot of these accounts, we know they're phonies. I've exposed this in the past, that these are bot accounts to create a perception in the mind of the young person. The majority of people hold those views. It was exactly what they used to do with polls. They would have a poll and say, oh, 80% of people believe this way. So the person's like, I don't want to be in that 20. Am I different for having the normal view over here? And it was always programming and mind control. I've never been polled. No one I know has ever been polled, but yet they would have no problem doing this. And it's the same thing they're doing with the social media accounts. A lot of these, again, are bots to, again, further this agenda, but it's working because the hard data supports that it's working. And I looked at a study this week that I immediately copied and cropped and got it understood, all the nuances of it, to talk about this week in relation to that. And what they did was they looked at 30-year-olds and the pattern of marriage and family among 30-year-olds in the United States. They took the data back to 75 all the way up to 2025. So we're looking at quite a big period of time here. And we're going to see stuff that is alarming. And it is going to show that the agenda is working perfectly right now. The same thing's being repeated in Muslim countries, but actually it's rapid or more fast over there because they perfected the techniques here before they brought them over there. Now they're bringing fully professional mind control techniques to the Gulf, and it's working wonders very quickly. So in 1975, 91% of women were married at the age of 30 and above. 91%. If you ran to a woman in public in 1975, 91% of the time, she had a husband. 81% of men. We're going to explain the gap there. How's that possible? We're going to show what really is going on as we look at all of these different data points. So you go to 1985, 77.5% of women and 67.7% of men. So we're seeing in this period of 10 years, 18% basically drop. No, sorry, not 18%, 14.5% drop in basically the marriage rates. We fast forward to 1995, 64 for women, 54% for men. Dropped again double digits. 2005, it was 50.5 to 41.1. 2015, it was 37 to 27. And now in 2025, 25.6% of women 30 years old and above are married versus in a 16.5% of men. This is staggering. It's disastrous for the health of the West. Now, again, we as Muslims are not concerned with Kufar following Kufar rules. Kufar are going to do Kufar things. They're going to break all of Allah's rules. They're going to twist marriage. But again, it's like I highlighted, this same stuff is being repeated in the Muslim world, and the Muslims who live in the West are following these patterns. You see the trends aligning almost exactly. I mean, it is terrible. And the reason for the gap is because all throughout history, older men have always married down. Older men have always married younger women. So you would see it, this 30-year-old demographic, a lot of those women were married to older men, so they had a higher rate than men of their same age. Men of their same age were waiting until 40 to have a little bit more money, a little bit more stability, and then they would marry. But that's always why we see those gaps between men and women. So this is, again, cause of alarm. You're getting it now down to 1/4. And by the math is not lying. If this agenda continues, you go to 2035, we'll be sitting here saying that the numbers now for women are 13 or 12%. It's just if you saw every decade, it was over 10% reduction because the propaganda has been unrelenting. It has been steady in the movies and the films and all of those things, you know. So, yeah, this is where we're at. We can see that part of the agenda is strong and it is working very, very well. And again, like I said, it is coming for the Ummah. We are going to, again, buy this nonsense. We are buying this nonsense, particularly our women. Now, again, don't worry as we're segueing into our next, because California always has the answer to problems, don't they? We're going to be looking at California in quite detail here because California kind of embodies this agenda. It's the most far along of the states in the United States at going along with this poison, with this destruction. If you want to know where the country goes, you look at where California is. It has always been that way. California is where Hollywood is. It's where they produce the dreams, the myths, the lies, and the fantasies. It is, of course, the policies worked always around that area before they spread out. California's always been, because CIA had projects and bases there, they've always been the head of pop culture. Now, there's been minor shifting away from that state to other places and hubs over the decades, but California continues to have its place. So California is always, when you see legislation there that is common sense, you're always going to see it get blocked, always. And they were trying to clean this state up, and they were trying to pass a resolution which would make it a felony to approach 15, 16, 17-year-olds for sex, prostitution, basically. And good old liberals in the state of California, as they always do, said, hold on. This will disproportionately impact the homosexual communities. And they always use that law. We're going to get to the homosexual relationship in California as we move along here. But again, always when you see pedophilia bills in California, they're always struck down. Always. Prostitution, all these things. Because, it's discriminatory against gays. But then if you say, okay, so you were suggesting that homosexuals had more inclination to being this way? Oh, no, that's homophobic. But you just said it. They said the quiet part again out loud. So again, California is a place that was blessed with tremendous resources. If people are familiar with American history, you go back to the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. California was the place to be. When I grew up, and I had phony Hollywood dreams like so many did in this country, it was my dream to go to California with 2 suitcases on a bus and make something of myself in the entertainment industry. I wanted to be in the music and things like that. And that was always kind of, the image of, larger than life. I mean, you talk about beautiful landscapes, wealth. This is where the best of the best, were. California has, I believe it's the 4th or the 5th largest economy in the world. China, the United States, India, Russia, and then California. I mean, this is a place that was blessed. Again, the weather, the landscapes, all these things. And we've seen this massive transition from that to just a third world waste hellhole, as we are going to be chronicling here. The great life, and this is, again, part of our understanding our Islam, is when we talk about Allah testing you. A lot of people, when they're not religious or they don't believe in Allah, they don't believe in God of any type, they often say to me in arguments, if you've argued with an atheist, why does your God bring suffering? God is love. He would be love. He would give you nothing but the good. Well, psychologically speaking, when a person receives nothing but good, what happens to you? You become soft. You become weak. You start to succumb even more to your desires, and it's just like a snowball running down the hill. If Allah didn't humble you and put you in your place, this is the best gift. The best thing is to be tested by Allah. But the atheists and the Satanists and all these people, they try to advert this, as always, and turn, oh my God, your God is horrible. Your God is a tyrant. He's giving you bad things. Bad things are good. Because you have people living in this comfort, in this soft life. They become prone to this type of ideology that has destroyed this state, this liberalism. And again, now this paradise that I talked about, this destination, this place to be, now ranks number 1 in the United States in homelessness. Number 1. Best fifth best economy in the world. We always hear from the Zionists and from the think tanks on the financial shows, well, the economy's everything. The economy's great. Country's great. Well, the economy in California, again, fifth in the world, as a state. And yet they rank number one in homelessness. They rank 42nd in the country in public safety. There's very few places worse than walking the streets of California. They are 37th in crime, used to be the flip side of this. And the big whopper here is they are 50 out of 50 in the cost of living. So you have the cost of living high, and then you have homelessness obviously high. And you see the streets of California now are filled with drug addicts and people sleeping on the streets. A lot of these people, I've seen so many interviews with them, they're not even on drugs at all. It's just they simply like this, they live in the car because they can't pay the rent, anymore. They're earning all this money. The economy is so great, we keep hearing, but yet they're living in these conditions. It is unreal. 50 out of 50 in cost of living. And we're going to tie this, as we always do, back to these policies. So starting, as usual, our good old friend immigration. Like I said a week ago, the sore on your inner part of your mouth that just won't seem to go away. One of the first things the state did was they opened up the floodgates. And they said, everybody, you're welcome here. We don't care if you're a gang member. We don't care what your education is. We don't care what you had to offer, because we're nice. We live a good life. Like I said earlier, soft. We have everything good. We want to share that. Human nature sometimes can be your own worst enemy. And they opened up the floodgates. They committed suicide in these policies on immigration and crime. California now has basically 1.85 illegals living in the state, 1/5 of the state's population. And we know the government lies, obviously about these numbers. They've been saying there's 11 million illegals in America since I was 21 years old. And I'm far from 21 now. So, quite a bit of ways away, and they've been saying 11 million. So we know if they're saying 1.85, it's probably 5, it's minimum 4. And it's just insane. They have never stopped the tap. They never turned it off. They just keep welcoming more and more and more. They enacted legislation to stop punishments from theft. Now in California, if you steal something, it has to be, I believe it's $850 to $900 to basically prosecute that person. So you see all these people, young youth, just running into these stores. They're all over social media. They get posted on a weekly basis, busting through the glass, taking things and just running. Because if it's not $850 or $900, they're not going to get prosecuted. And even in that case, they probably still won't either. Get a liberal judge in there who will just simply say, oh, he came from poverty, so he's okay to steal shoes. If you're starving, you need something to eat, you shouldn't be stealing $300, $400 tennis shoes. You shouldn't be stealing iPhones. This is not poverty. This is luxury desires. This is being, animalistic and impulsive and not wanting to work and not understanding how to delay gratification, having your priorities. I mean, when I worked in Walmart in my early 20s, we busted so many people for stealing, and none of it was food. I mean, no one was stealing food from there. There happened here and there, but it was mostly luxury items. It was electronics and things like that. So no punishments for theft, lenient sentences, sanctuary status for illegals, and then massive welfare and entitlements. They give basically everything. Free health care to illegals, free college tuition. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And when you have all these entitlements, who's going to pay for them? That's the thing. You could sit there and you go, oh, well, we need to share more with the world. We're a wealthy country. We should share. Well, who's going to pay for this? Where are you going to raise the money for? Obviously, it's not the people signing this stuff in the state houses. No, it's going to be the people that are going to pay for this stuff. California ranks 49th in the country in individual income tax, 46% in sales tax. It is insane. They have the highest marginal income tax rate in the country at 13.3%. They are taking your money everywhere. There's the thing. I said 850 to 900 is 950. I'm always close. I get the number exactly right, but get in the ballpark there. And again, you see, I mean, just massive amounts of taxes. You look at the cost of fuel in this state. I mean, it is unbelievable. They are plunged head first into the phony climate change scam. They're now taxing their citizens between 60 to 70 cents per gallon of gas. Now, I'd like any of these people to tell me how taxing the citizens 60 to 70% on a gallon of gas is going to save the earth if the earth was in trouble. We know from real accurate reports, and these are some of the scenes that are being shown right now. It's just boldness. I mean, they know nothing is going to happen to them. We are watching again, because in order to build the world I talked about in 2030, and that's why I'm bringing all this up to tie it in last week, you have to tear the old world down. You have to make the old world crumble. You have to get rid of all the freedoms of movement, freedoms that we had before. And because people are tired of living this way. So they're going to demand radical change. Radical change, the masters and controllers, they already have it planned out. They know exactly, again, where they're going to take this. So taxing your citizens on fuel, taxing their income, state, federal level, already federal is not controlled, obviously, by California. You're taxing them on just about everything imaginable. Every time I see the state tax just gets raised and raised and raised. And it's just absolutely unbelievable. And again, you know, you've brought in the homelessness, you brought in the illegals, you welcome the gangs, you know, you continue to tax the people. What's going to happen? The good people move away. And then you have to tax the people that are there even more to compensate for that. We're seeing massive business exodus. So much so, they're now trying to tax you when you leave. So if you try to leave this prison, they're going to tax you on the way out, because they want to at least get something from you to pay for the illegals, pay for the drug addicts, and pay for all the other things that they are doing now. One of the policies relating to the drug addicts, I saw this a decade ago, and immediately I said, oh, it's obvious what they're doing here. They wanted to basically lower the healthcare costs for needle users. So they decided to just provide the needles to them at the taxpayer, expense. Let's just give all the drug addicts needles. So you're encouraging it. Instead of taking these people and providing treatment programs, getting them to find the law, getting them to find God, getting one in inner peace with themselves and changing their lives, no, here's needles, keep doing it, because they want the chaos again. It's not about fixing anything. It's about perpetuating the chaos. So this has resulted in, just massive, disturbing scene after scene. I was watching one recently where they were showing the people were just injecting right in the street, right in front of the people, just injecting. One guy was standing there like something out of a zombie movie. He was so high on whatever it was he was taking. So because of this now, they have signs on the beaches that are basically telling you don't go on the beach barefooted because you might step on one of these needles. It's just unbelievable. San Francisco is the one particularly where they were doing this. And San Francisco has a special place in my heart because I've studied it, seems like now probably about 30 years of my life. And San Francisco really was kind of the epicenter of so much of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll culture. But San Francisco was also the center of the new Sodom and Gomorrah, the new city of Lot. San Francisco started opening massive amounts of what they call gay saunas in the 70s and the 80s. These were places where homosexual men were encouraged to go in there and meet other homosexual men. We were hearing crazy stories were coming out of there. I covered this, probably most of you weren't following me at the time, about a year and a half ago when I talked about the LGBTQ and the people of Lot and how they're resurfacing. And California welcomed the gay community, particularly San Francisco. And they opened these bathhouses, these gay saunas, and the diseases, of course, they went through the roof. And you started finding all kinds of, huge expenses on the taxpayers taking care of all these diseases, because homosexuality is not a natural lifestyle. No matter how much they want to come on the television and tell you, oh, they're just like you. They want to get married. They want to have a pet dog and a son and a daughter. No, absolutely not. We're talking about men that were having over 800 partners. We're talking numbers in the thousands. Per, sometimes in a year. They were having 10 to 15 a week by some of their own admissions. So again, when you look at 2030, California is there. California's trying, San Francisco has done this, where the taxpayer again pays for the gender reassignment surgery. So when you have a gender reassignment surgery, most people aren't really aware of what goes on in that. But this is mutilation. When that person undergoes that surgery, you can't take hormones, you can't take change your diet. It's over. You are never going to reproduce. Your sexual organ has been mutilated, and they make the taxpayer pay for this. And what ends up happening to these gay men who want to become a woman, they mutilate their male figure down there, so to speak, and they have an open wound. And the open wound is not something that other gay men are going to want. These people end up killing themselves at a very high rate. It's a mental disease. There's no coming back from this. And these people need help. They can be saved. But, again, it's spreading the disease. It's promoting and perpetuating this. So whether it's unlimited immigration, whether it's climate change nonsense and all this green initiatives that are bankrupting people, driving their energy crisis through the roof, homelessness contributing from high costs of living, property taxes are through the roof because, again, they got to raise this money somehow. So they're going to charge you massive amounts of money for property tax. You got dieting issues. I mean, all of this stuff centered in California. It's all come from there. And it's only getting worse. And when people often like to argue with me about the tenets of liberalism, I say, well, literally, dude, you've got an example, a real life, living, breathing example of what liberalism produces by the state of California. It's like once the liberals take control, it's over. You're not getting it back. Everything will be rigged, as we're going to look at Canada coming up here, and they're going on the same exact course. Once these liberals take control, everything will be rigged. There'll be no, just like the communists, same thing. There'll be no honest elections. Not that we condone or promote this democracy, but at least there's some ways in a democracy that you can make some change. But when you have these people, entrenched like this, there's no change. And they've been under Democratic leadership for quite some time. And again, when you look at these transgender surgeries, and if someone wants to mutilate themselves, I'm not paying for it. I shouldn't have to pay for it. Decent, moral people should not. And again, California is the future. We're going to look at Canada coming up here in a minute because they just are on the same suicidal track that California is. Now, I'll turn the subject right quick. Our favorite Muslim, Andrew Tate, he's back in the news. Again, you talk about the Agenda 2030 issue. You've got to talk about Tateism. As I told when I did the Andrew Tate lecture at the beginning of the year, I talked about a tweet that someone had made where they had Judaism and then the greater than sign pointing to Christianity, then to Islam, then to Tateism. They had Andrew Tateism ranking as the best ideology in earth outside of Islam, which was better than Christianity, which was better than Judaism. So Andrew Tate, again, how's he contributing to this? He's teaching young men to worship money, obviously. He's condoned recently men to not even get married anymore. He said a real man has 10 fatherless children. I'm paraphrasing, but something along those lines. So go out there and get women pregnant and lead them. This is being alpha. This is the ideal male form. Leave these children to go out there without male guidance and end up becoming the same thing that Andrew Tate is supposedly against. And as I've often pointed out, you can know someone, judge them by the solutions that they are providing you. When their solutions are things like this, they're on the take. They work, for the establishment. So this guy recently, there's a lot of news with him I saw this week. He has some excellent health advice, on his channel. One of his professors, who goes by the name of Alex Stancio, was teaching these followers, some of them, of course, unfortunately, are Muslims, that smoking is now healthy. It's manly. So if you want to be a man like these guys and have all the money and the cars, you should smoke cigarettes. You should actively smoke and put toxic chemicals into your body. I mean, I'm not a doctor. I mean, none of us here, I don't think, are in the medical sense. And I think it's safe to say I smoked for 30 years. I know, unfortunately, it is not healthy by any means. I'm glad that I finally removed it from my life. I already feel better because of that. And again, they're out there promoting this. So you're getting again, greed, materialism, being a pimp, all this stuff is the aspirations of life. But then you're also getting the message that smoking is good for you. And this is a Muslim man, according to a lot of the people in our ummah who have prominent accounts. They'll tell you he's a good Muslim, and we just have to understand him. One of the citing examples, which is true, and it's again misrepresented, smoking does increase testosterone levels in men. They have found correlation between, into haters of women and worshipers of money, which again, what does it do? It ties into the 2030 agenda. It ties directly into breaking up the family, mother and fatherhood. That's the aim. That's where it goes. It all makes sense when you know what's behind it, why this guy was platformed, why he was promoted in the way that he was. Because again, he's furthering their agenda. And again, he's Muslim 2.0, and there's not even a better case you can find of Muslim 2.0 than Andrew Tate. So now he's back in Dubai. This is the other part of this news. So he's back in Dubai. Temporarily, his charges, he's allowed to leave the country. So he's going on this kind of tour. He was in the United States in Ramadan, breaking the fast every single day. And people still probably defended him, even though I stopped watching those people. I'm sure they probably had an excuse for it. Oh, he didn't know it was Ramadan. He's new. He didn't know what Ramadan was after 2.5 years. And so now he has a plan in Dubai, and Sister Layla could definitely find this picture. There's already prototypes for it. He wants to construct Tate Tower. He has this, and I said this to people about 2 years ago. I said, this guy wants to be the new Donald Trump. What Donald Trump was for us who grew up in the 80s was what this guy is, but better body and obviously better. They don't have hair, but definitely probably better looking, you can say, than Donald Trump. Even though Donald Trump was not what he was back then, he was much more handsome when he was younger, but it was the glamorous lifestyle of Donald Trump that put him on those shows in the 80s, like Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. When you saw Donald Trump, you saw him with all these women. And it's kind of funny, isn't it, that now he's a big Christian. And Christians talk about, oh, he's a Bible lover like us. And nothing of Donald Trump's life has ever aligned with the Bible by any means. And this guy is, again, he's very similar in parallels what he wants his career to be to that of Donald Trump. He even talked about running for office and create a fake party. He's got the glitz, the glamour, the ladies. Every time you see him, there's a different set of women. So why not build Tate Tower instead of Trump Tower? And the treasonous United Arab Emirates is going to allow him to do this. And he said basically he wanted to leave a legacy and his imprint in one of the future, key word there, future cities of the world by choosing Dubai. And Dubai is Agenda 2030. It is where we're going. Everything being confined, limited space, smart cities, total control grid. I talked about some examples of some of the things they did during the COVID scam last week. And now he's going to put his Tate Tower, as he's planning to, right in the middle. And again, how Muslim is the concept of this Tate Tower? It's going to promote luxury living, very Islamic there. Elite networking, where you can meet other rich and powerful men to learn how to take advantage of others and line your pockets. High performance lifestyle branding. So how to create products and brand them and sell to the dumb goyim like us. And then again, wealth, luxury, decadence, materialism, very Islamic, to be built in the middle of a so-called Muslim country. Again, this is where we're at, isn't it? And how's he going to continue to make his money? Well, he's going to continue making his money scamming his audience, as he's always done, whether it be through crypto, whether it be through his subscription services and all these things, And he's now planning to upgrade his subscription service to his website. There it is. Wouldn't this be beautiful to have in the middle of a Muslim country? Let's have that right there. Let's put Tate Tower, like right next to Mecca. Why not? That's where the leadership in Saudi Arabia, they would do it. If he offered him enough money and he told him it'd be the tallest building in the world, the Saudi government would line up to build this in Mecca. It's not even exaggeration, to say that. This is just, again, where we're at. So he's going to rip off his audience again here, because what he's doing is classic marketing. He's selling you his subscription now for $50 a month under the promise that you're going to learn how to get rich. And just imagine again, if you get 100,000 people, you get 10,000 people even, and they pay $50 a month, how much money he's been circulating. And his website is very poor. It doesn't have a lot of costs. It's basically message boards from what I've gathered. So it's very low expense, high earning, selling people this dream. So now he's telling them that his subscription service is going to be better than ever. It's going to move up to $250. So what are you going to get for the $250? You're going to get business loans from him with riba. How Islamic of him. There's the riba thing. So again, just tick, tick, adultery, tick, fornication, tick, drinking, tick, not fasting in Ramadan, tick, riba, tick. What else is left? I mean, except blaspheming the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, blaspheming Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, there's really not much left. I mean, at this point. And now he's going to give these loans at riba, giving them bank accounts to be used anywhere around the world with credit cards given to his users of $1,000 a month. So the scam is that you got to hurry up because you can get in early before he raises the price. So you can pay a $50 entry fee to get all these new things, and you may be able to dodge that $250 for a little bit of time. So needless to say, he has not upgraded the website at all. He knows what he's doing. Last call, come, we're going to raise. He's been doing this for 2 years now. And every time he does this, he gets an influx of new people. They're like, oh, I can't miss this. What if 10% chance I will be able to accumulate wealth like this guy if I pay the $50? So these Muslims in particular, they line up to give this man money. He's got a new crypto that he's come out with. He's encouraging everyone to buy it early. Needless to say, we know where that story is going to end. It's going to pump. He's going to dump on everybody. They're going to lose massive amounts of money. And this is how he's going to continue to get wealthy for projects like the Tate Tower being built in the United Arab Emirates. So again, great Muslim man doing great Muslim things. And all of our social media people platform this man. Can't say that enough. And they said, you just got to trust him. We can't judge his intention. He's charging riba. Well, maybe he doesn't know what riba is. He's doing this. Maybe he doesn't know it's Ramadan. And they'll just continue and continue. So the final part that we're going to look at here is in conclusion to looking at some events that relate to last week was in Canada, a gentleman by the name of Mark Carney. Now, I talked about this guy a few months ago when Justin Trudeau stepped down. I said, meet the new boss, same as the old boss. They brought this scumbag in. This guy was basically, again, connected to the Bank of England. He was connected to all the Rothschild groups. He's a World Economic Forum member. It's like all the things you would say, I don't want in a leader, this guy was. I mean, it's like you want to manage, the police department. Are you going to go hire the leader of the Bloods or the Crips? I mean, that would be insanity or absurd to suggest such a thing. But that's basically what happened there. You want to fix your problems in your failed nation. So you're going to hire the guy who's part of the system that created those problems. Again, it makes zero sense unless we factor in fraud. He's, again, transparent on a politician that you're ever going to find. You have that resume. It's like Emmanuel Macron in France. When he came in, Rothschild Bank, World Economic Forum member, the people in France hate him. I mean, Emmanuel Macron has managed to unify the French, the conservative French, the Muslims. He's managed to unify generally every group that's fundamentally opposed to each other, unite in their disdain for Emmanuel Macron. But yet, every time he comes up for election, he wins because it's a fraud. It's a sham. And we see this again. So this election was called by an emergency. What was the emergency? The government was so bad, the society was crumbling at high speed. And then who wins the emergency election? The same government that caused us to have an emergency, or caused them, I'm sorry to say, have an emergency election. You can't make this stuff up. This is the same government that during the COVID scam imposed some of the worst, most insane lockdowns that crippled the economy that the whole planet had seen. I mean, this was so bad, the truckers got together and started blocking the ports because they didn't know what else to do. They were trying to stop this and just showing this government, we are against this stuff that you're doing. There were massive truck protests. I believe it was 2022 about this particular issue. And what did they do to the truckers? They thanked them, even though it's supposed to be a democracy? No, they started locking their bank accounts. And this led to Bitcoin becoming more popular because they could control their money and move their money around. They blocked the accounts of everybody who tried to help the truckers. People were going out there, bringing them sandwiches and food, supporting what they did. They were arresting people. Same government that was doing all these things. Calls of emergency election, guess what? They get elected again because it's a sham. Like I did my video way back, about left or right, Islam is right, that we don't have any emotional or energy should ever be invested into this. It is totally a scam. It's not the way we're going to change things. And again, as usual, there's more to this story than meets the eye about the erosion of Canada. So from 2014 to 2024, Canada imported at a minimum 5 million people from around the world. The country now is unrecognizable to people that were born in the 2000s. And me in America is unrecognizable in every area since when I was a child. But for them, it's unrecognizable even a decade ago. And not for the better, by any means. Because again, it's unfiltered, unchecked, massive immigration. And we're going to show how they try to blame Muslims for this here in a second. We're going to look at who these immigrants are, and we're going to see how low Islam is. Because when you hear any anti-immigrant sentiment, you always see the Muslim lady in the hijab or the niqab, or you see the brother with the beard. They're like, look, they're bringing Sharia here. But that's not even close to the majority. It is in some European countries, but it's not in this particular context, but yet they use the same tricks. Islam is going to be the bad guy and the scapegoat for all the problems that non-Muslim immigrants are causing. So the population now of Canada has rose to 23% being foreign born. This is a disaster. These people don't learn French. They don't learn the language. It's tribalism now entering in the society. We see all these stories now of nepotism and favoritism in jobs. One ethnic group only goes to their community. And you can't build, as we talked about, a nation with multiculturalism. You either have an Islamic culture, you have a democratic culture, which is what the people here in America always say, we have a constitutional culture. You have a Christian culture. You have a Hindu culture. You're not going to have all of them. They are going to be at war among racial lines, among ideological lines. And there's no brotherhood that can come from this. So again, one of the lies that they sell you, that, oh, you're, yes, 23% foreign born, but this is good because immigration fuels economic growth. Well, does it? Well, again, we can look at Canada and tell a different story. Canada had just 0.5% economic growth during the period of time that the massive amount of those immigrants came in. You imported basically whole areas of India, basically. We're going to look at the numbers, and that's why that statement's going to make sense here in a second. And you expected economic growth? I mean, look at streets of India. Look at the poor and impoverished there. Look at the corruption. Look at how top to bottom that Hindu-run society is a train wreck. And you think you're going to be able to import that anywhere and see anything different? That is pure insanity. And again, the leaders know what they're doing. The people on the bottom either believe the lies or they know the truth, and they are being silenced. So again, it seems like the immigration data numbers they throw out all the time is just a bit of a lie, isn't it? Because where's the economic growth? We keep hearing about all the entrepreneurship and all the great things that are going to happen. And just like we looked at previously with California, guess what? Canada has a housing crisis. This is why I brought it up last week and clarified earlier today. It's hand in hand. You have 2 million people now are relying on food banks. The cost of living is out of control. The society can't cope with this. You can't, even if these are the best 5 million people on the face of the earth, you can't take 5 million people and throw them in a country in 10 years and expect there to be affordable homes. You can't do that and expect everybody to have a job. Societies grow organically. by producing more resources, using more development, ingenuity, creativity to accommodate a larger and larger population. You can't take a society built for 20-something million, add 5 to 10 million to that, and expect it to flow harmoniously. It's just simply not going to happen. It is not going to happen at all. And again, homelessness, all these problems that are going on down there, same as California. Property taxes, because they have to pay for this. Somebody's going to have to pay for it. So the taxes go up, the sales taxes go up. You already see, as an example, like professional athletes. They don't even want to play for Canadian teams a lot of the times because the taxes are so outrageous, even in comparison to Los Angeles or comparison to other heavy tax areas like New York. It is out of control. Homelessness, again, drugs, homosexuality, Toronto, very much like San Francisco, they follow that pattern. In fact, Toronto had riots in the 1980s because they said, we're going to be a gay safe haven. And then they saw all the disease and all the problems. They started closing those bathhouses. And the homosexuals rioted. This is a documented fact. And again, you can't follow this ideology to success. It breaks every one of the law's tenets in so many levels. And again, it's a race to the bottom. You know, they have to destroy the old to make way for the new. So out of these immigrants, 27% come from India. So this throws the whole, these are people fleeing war lie. We hear that lie all the time. Oh, these are people fleeing war. You know, you have an obligation to protect people fleeing war. And we've exposed that time and time again here, but 27% are from India. There's no war in India. Maybe soon we can talk about that. I'm not much of an expert on Pakistani Indian history, but I was thinking about doing something from the Islamic perspective on that particular conflict, but I need to do some significant research. But again, India is not at war. And then even worse, 7.2% of these come from China. So again, they're obviously not at war. They are now the number one in some studies, number one economy in the world. Why are Chinese people being allowed to immigrate to the West? Are they hostile to the West? Do they love the West? Or are they here to take the resources and send it back home? I think we know the answer to that. It is suicidal. Only someone who is insane or, again, the agenda would be responsible for such things. This makes no sense. Then you have 5.4% from Afghanistan, and the rest, there's a war, was a war. There you can make a bit of an asylum case for them. But the vast majority of these immigrants are not Muslims. They are not. But yet, when you see these things going on TV, again, it's always depicted as the woman in the hijab, the brother with a beard, you know, they're sitting, you know, doing this or whatever. But this is not the face of immigration to this particular country. So Pierre Poilievre, he basically was the opponent. And this is another technique that they do, is they select the opponent who's basically almost as soft as the government. There's really not much of a difference. So people don't even have to vote. They know the answer. So they stay home. It's easier to rig when you don't have massive outpouring. So it's much easier to control the counts. So what he did, which is a new tradition in Canada that I've been following now for about 5 years, he did the ritual of submission. And this ritual of submission is where you go to a Hindu temple and you put the dot on your head and you wear the scarf and all the clothes and you do the chanting. And all the Sikhs and all these are in the back, the Hindus and the Sikhs, depending on which temple he's in. And this is like, look, I'm a good guy. I love you guys. I want to bring more of you guys in. There are now more Sikh parliament members in Canada than there are in India. It is becoming a colonized nation. And of course, any of you guys who are familiar with Hinduism, we talked a bit about that a few weeks ago, and the peculiar practices, the anti-Islamic practices, the blasphemous practices. We showed the Hindu statue in Texas. This is a hostile group to us, more so than the Christians, by far. This is a group that if anyone who knows anything about that region knows that Hindus are very, very hostile to Muslims all the time. And again, 35%, total immigrants from there. So no economic growth, rising housing prices, ruined quality of life. And we are expected to believe that the Canadians lined up and got in their cars to vote for more of the same. Like at least, in other countries, they actually try to make you think there's going to be a change. Like we had a Trump, and then we had a Biden, and then we had a Trump again. So the people, oh, look, democracy's working, we're replacing the leadership. But in countries like Canada and Western Europe, they just don't seem to care. They're like, we're giving you the same thing, 100%. We're even going to say the same things. Whether we're conservative or we're liberal, you're getting Agenda 2030. And again, now you've got your World Economic Forum member in there. So again, one of his quotes that he said when he got elected was, "We can't stabilize the climate until we get net zero emissions." So again, this is very, very frightening. If you're in a country like Canada, which is cold, where you need heat, in the winter, and these people are up here promoting that phony climate change agenda. They're telling you you've got to put more taxes on oil and gas. They're just going to destroy the manufacturing. What's left of it? It'll go to China. It'll go to India, obviously. And then the Canadians are going to be left in a service economy with high energy costs, which are not going to be sustainable. And again, they're going to go in, destroying the old world, paving the way for the new one. And he even said that climate change will be the center of his campaign. Everything he does, climate change will be there. And when you look at the issues that Canadians said were important to them, this wasn't even this wasn't even there. No one cares about this. Everyone now mostly is learning it's nonsense because they've been telling you disaster stories since 2001. Really, you can go back to the 70s. They said there was going to be an ice age back then, and it was going to wipe out humanity. And then they just said, okay, heat sounds more scary. So we're going to go with heat. It's going to heat the planet up, and the sea levels are going to rise, and Florida is going to be under the ocean. If you remember Al Gore saying these things in 2000 when he was running against Bush, that California was going to be under the ocean in 2011. Well, beachfront property's never been higher in California, so I think the developers and the purchasers of the land, including Barack Hussein Obama, who actually bought land in these beach areas in Hawaii and other states where if climate change was so bad and the sea levels were going to put it underwater, why are you spending millions of dollars in investing in properties?
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Yusuf. Brother Yusuf, I'm loving this class. I'm taking so many notes, and I agree with so much of this. I want to proceed in asking you a question. I know the latest class, she's about to start at 9:30, and we really want to be on time as scheduled. But if as a closing remark in regards to this, as far as everything that you've been talking about, I also have been taking a look at the news and what's been going on with the homelessness in California. We were just talking about this, me and my husband, because he also was looking. They were trying to get workers out there to clean after the homelessness in California. I don't know if this is a repeated thing program that they have, but they pay very good money. And I didn't think that it was such a bad problem until recently, over the past couple of months, I've been seeing it in the news, and then you brought it up. And I just said, wow, like to just look at everything in a view, like we always look over the years, Hollywood, California, so much money in these states and so much problems also in these states or whatnot,
Absolutely. And yeah. And I only had a couple bullets left, and I was going to open up for questions. Yeah, so pretty much, like what you said there. And I guarantee if you look behind that, what you will see is the company that got all that money from our tax dollars for the problems they created was somebody who knew somebody in the state houses. So it's like, here, boom, take the money, give it to him. And it was probably overcharged. Like it used to be in like the United States military, as an example, they would charge the United States military $100 for a screwdriver that you could buy for $5 because it was a taxpayer money, and they're laughing all the way to the bank. All the providers of these services and stuff are making a killing off them taking our money and then paying it to their friends to do these programs. It's like they created the problem. You can't bring in 5 million people and say, oh, everybody's going to have a house. No problem. And the housing, of course, is going to just continue to go up. And then, like I said, you're in a slope like this because you have to keep taxing. You promise so many groups entitlements and free services that you just have to keep taxing everybody. It's a domino effect. The snowball just grows and grows and grows, and it becomes impossible to stop. In Canada and California, the reason I focused on here, one's a country, one's a state. They're both doing the same thing because they're destroying the old world, paving the way for the new. Canada's already talked about universal basic income. California's talked about it because that's the goal, is to have you dependent, again, 100% slave to the state. And by taking away your ability to own a home, driving you into the streets, you're going to beg them for the solutions that they have for you. Oh, please, just spare us this. Do something for us. What are you going to do? Oh, we got something for you. A 15-minute city over here. And you're going to live there. And you're going to be tracked, chipped, injected with all kinds of, nanotechnologies that we talked about last week. And you're going to be basically completely dependent on the state, Does anyone have any questions or comments we can address before Sister Layla comes back?
No, that this just was a good class. Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Everybody.
Yeah, I got this one quick because I didn't have to. I was very busy this week, and I wanted to follow up with last week, and kind of dawned on me, why don't I just, because Canada had an election this week, let's just go there. And then also then that led me to, okay, California has to be covered as well, because they're very parallels. I mean, acceptance of homosexuality. And they know what they're doing. Like I said, all these politicians now, they do the Hindu submission rituals. The same way Donald Trump and Biden, Obama, they do the Zionist submission ritual. They go to the Wailing Wall, and they put the yarmulke on, and they do that thing. Well, now in Canada, they put the dot and the turban on, and they do the whole thing in there, so not much of a difference.
One of the brothers here is asking, is it true that Canada is trying to take over America? That this new government in Canada thinks that he can take over America? And is it true that Trump thinks he's going to take over Canada?
Yeah, for the brother's question, I talked about this a few weeks ago of the Amero and the North American Union, and how in 2008, when Obama was in office, they talked about the North American, sorry, the tail end of Bush and the beginning of Obama. When they talked about the North American Union, everybody was like, oh my God, this is evil. We can't do this. Because Donald Trump is so trusted among the conservatives in this country, when Trump talks about it, he changed the language. That's all he did. Instead of saying North American Union, he says 51st state. And everybody basically, oh yeah, that's good. Another state, great. And all those 5 million plus, illegals and immigrants would now be eligible to come here and take our jobs as well. I mean, it would be just absolutely a disaster. And then Mexico would be the 52nd state. And that would be the North American Union. There are many ways they could get into it, but they're going to collapse the economy first. And all this language is professional wrestling. They're going to go up there and bash Trump. Trump will come back and bash them. In the end of the day, they're all on the same team. It's psychological operation. They are setting up what the goal is, and that is a North American Union. And it'll be the United States, Canada, and Mexico eventually as one free-moving economic zone. That will be disastrous, for all the peoples of these areas. Culture, language, unity, it's just going to be a disaster. But Trump says it, it's good. When Bush said it, Obama said it, oh, it's treason. Trump changes the language, and of course Trump didn't come up with this. They just said, hey, say that, and gave him a cue card, and he says what they tell him to say. It's like Biden. Trump's just a better actor. Biden didn't know what he was saying half the time.
Exactly. Well, mashallah, this was a very good news and review. Everybody here on social platform is saying that they really enjoyed it. You had a lot of people here listening to this week too. The audience is growing more and more. And for those of you who are new to our weekly news and review, this is Brother Yusuf Zucovskys. You know what that means? He's from Europe originally. One of the early settlers.
We're from the Caucasus Mountains, my father's side. Caucasus was the original. Ellis Island butchered our last name.
The Caucasians.
Yeah.
That's the
Caucasian.
Caucasian.
Caucasian sensation, literally the exact representation.
Brother Yusuf, in this case, we have to leave the country. We should not live in America anymore.
Well, if we had good leadership, which obviously we don't,
I doubt.
we could go live in Muslim countries like I wanted to live back in 2012. And
Where?
I'll tell stories about that one day here, about how unwelcomed I was in my own people, supposedly my brothers' countries, you know, because I tried to make Hijrah, and it wasn't allowed.
But the brother Yusuf, where in Muslim country a leader, a good leader?
That's what I was saying. We don't have any.
In fact, I'm going to Malaysia tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
I might something good. Me and my wife going to see the 1 week for Malaysia. It's a good country. We can live in peace with a good leader. We live there.
I heard Malaysia is one of the best to go to as an immigrant.
That's why I'm going for. I have some lecture in different masjid and the Jum'ah. But only 1 week you're gonna stay there. We see the situation. But in America, I agree. You know, for Muslim, it's not good either to live here, right? Well,
from a moral standpoint, and from a moral standpoint, obviously it's not. From a financial standpoint, the economy is what it is. The inflation's out of control. The cost of living, the immigration issues are not going to change. The media is not going to change. The Zionist agendas internally or not externally are not going to change. And it's unfortunate because I wanted in 2011 when I decided to go over there, I thought I could make Hijrah and I thought I'd be welcomed as a brother in Muslim countries, but that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, get out, you know? It's like that's their mentality over there. We don't want you here.
Yeah, I heard Malaysia's nice too. My brother, my oldest brother, went over there and he really liked it too. He's liked Malaysia.
I have my students, my students over there, they're waiting for me. And you see the situation, if it is good, we'll have to take
Does
everything.
Aileen speak that language? She's so smart. Can she speak their language?
No, the main language in English is
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
Yeah, the English. ما خطوا الجمعة English, my lectures English, and no problem with that. And all my students, no one speak Malay.
Oh, wow. I know my brother likes, my oldest brother loves it over there. He likes to visit there a lot. He loves it. He said it's beautiful too. The mountains, everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures. I've never been there, but.
And the good things, the good people.
That's what he said too. He said too.
The key is the people. Yeah, for example, if you go to live in Mecca, the most corrupted people in Mecca.
Yeah, I know.
Emirates is the worst. Yeah. Oman, worse and worse. Egypt, the most corrupted country ever. So where to go? So, Jazakallah khair, Yusuf, for this.
So Egypt's more corrupt than Syria, even?
Say it again?
Is Egypt more corrupt than Syria?
Oh, trust me.
Oh, wow. Because you've been there, that's why I was asking for why you get this account.
Egypt, since the King Farouk, they make uprising against him. After that, Jamal Abdel Nasser and Sadat and Hosni Mubarak, and the most excellent one, he stayed 1 year and they killed him.
Mm-hmm.
And now Sisi, 10 years. Mm-hmm. The key, those people or the president, they control the army. And the army, how to control the army? With dinero.
Yeah.
Money. Yeah, for example, the soldier, only 1 star, they give him a car and a house and money and salary. And what? The government giving that. I mean, not only that, this one just like graduated, become dictator by default. Fir'aun. Yeah, Egypt, the most corrupted. And Egypt taught Jordan and taught Emirates and Saudi Arabia.
Well, I heard all the Arabic countries are bad, really, all of them. That's what I heard.
All the ones I've been to are, yeah.
That's what I heard.
Arab, and I agree 100%.
That's what the prophet said too. Yeah, the prophet ﷺ said it would be that way. But I heard Malaysia. I heard it's nice there.
We'll see. I'll let you know, everybody. Inshallah, I'm leaving tomorrow.
Just make sure when you do your lectures, send me text me, and make sure you stream them on your Facebook page so I can stream them all over.
By the way, 12 hours between here and there.
Yeah, that's good.
Now it's 9:35. 8 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah.
1 o'clock a.m.
So that's why I say I'll be able to do youth with no problem.
So, and I texted the program. Normally in night time, we in 7 o'clock and 6 o'clock, we Fajr time in your
That's
time.
good. That's good. So that we don't have nothing going on.
I let you know, inshallah. I let you know, inshallah. Why? Because I'm gonna remove all the social media from my phone, clean phone, like a brand new phone, and over there, we'll see what's going on. I don't want anybody to stop me in the airport.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Mhm.
That'd be good. Inshallah. Inshallah.
Well, you take care of yourself. Let us know when you're okay.
Yeah.
Miss you, as always.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Brother and sister, very, very important. Actually, since I watched him from the beginning when Brother Yusuf started, I shared in my Facebook immediately. I shared this topic. You have to share it. And alhamdulillah, no one can speak about this topic except Brother Yusuf. Jazakallah khair for that. Very important to know followers and whoever social media listen to us and whoever follow me in Facebook. You have to share the Sunnahfollowers. Please, it's very important with that. And thank you, and Jazakallah khair, Brother Yusuf, for that. And Sister Light, Jazakallah khair for that.
Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to close out. I know I have my Q&A. I'm getting ready to close out this thread, and we'll open up the Islam Q&A. So I'll be joining that one in 3 seconds. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Let me go into there. I think I should. Yeah. Let me get in here. Did I close it? Did I close it?